'89 for that year. It was rap music. Because when I saw these individuals who were, you know, talking about empowerment and education, I mean, there was countless of people, you know, that I grew up with who went to black colleges as a result of rap music. It was such a robust time, and many of us, you know, on this panel remember that time, that it inspired a whole movement of young people to, you know, not only, you know, get involved in their communities, but also to achieve. And some of us have been inspired, and some of us are running companies or have started companies. But I'll bring that up to say, because I know there was some talk earlier about, you know, the balance of the positive and negative images. The discourse has to change, and a lot of it comes back to a lot of Lee's points that he was making earlier. It's not just me on a panel talking to you. The same way I'm talking here is the same way I talk in barbershops. And I talk loud too, and I quiet the whole barbershop. Thugs be sitting there like this. Because what I have to say in terms of helping to change the conditions of our communities is just as important. So I'm not going to be silenced because you want to give me a school face. I'm not afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? So I look at myself and, you know, I look at, you know, that I am a descendant of the ones who created the heavens, of the one who created the heavens and the earth. So it's like, what should I fear because you disagree with me? We agree to disagree, but I'm not going to be afraid to change the discourse or to change the perception, the negative perception that many of us hold about ourselves individually, also about each other. You know, so I'm committed to the discourse, and I'm committed to, you know, any one of you who feel disempowered in one way or another, whether it be at home, whether it be at school, where you know you have something to say, you know you have something to express, but you don't have the actual vehicle to express yourselves. And if you don't, you know, if you need somebody to talk to around that, you can talk to me. Because the discourse in our community must change for us to, you know, reach the next level. Achievement, excellence must be at the forefront. When I came here, you know, when I was in my hotel room the first night, I actually cried. I actually cried. Because I looked at myself and some of the mistakes that I've made in my life. And the level of commitment to excellence, even though I had my brief moments of, you know, excellence, but the level of commitment of excellence, I wasn't surrounded by that. And to see that exhibited in you men and young men and women, I mean, you should applaud yourselves. You should really applaud yourselves. I mean, the commitment to excellence that I've seen here, that I've seen exhibited here, you know, I say praise God to that. So the discourse of excellence must take this out of the classroom, take this out of the lecture hall, and go into the streets. I go into the streets. I speak in the streets a lot. You know, so I mean, don't get this twisted. Don't get my suit twisted. Now, I got my Yankee hat, my Nike ACG boots, and I be on Fulton Street and Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn, talking the same way, because we can't look down on those who need a hand up. And those people can, it's one thing that, you know, as a former follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a former member of the Nation of Islam, it's one thing that Elijah said that always rung true with me. There's two things he said was, accept your own and be yourself. And one thing he said to one of his ministers, when he asked about his followers, he said, my best followers are out in the street. My best followers are out on the street. Those that you refuse to get. So there's so many, the discourse has to change here. It must not remain within, you know, institutions of higher learning. It must be out in the street. It must be in corporate boardrooms. It must be in all facets of life. So that's what I'm committed to, changing the discourse.
I'm committed to over the next year to continuing to attract more young African Americans to the financial media. So if any of you are interested in writing for a publication like the Wall Street Journal, then you should consider starting that effort now, right? instead of waiting until you get into the industry. It makes it much different. So I'm committed to that. I mentor students, and I'm willing to do that for the students that are aggressive and that are serious, okay? The people that are really coming in, pursuing excellence. I'm committed to that, and I have been, and I will continue to be. I'm committed to collaboration. And when I say that, I just started a production company. It was important to me that that be a black-owned company. You know, even though my producer is an African-American, my other partner is, and I think that's important. Philanthropy is, of course, important, and that goes without saying, but I don't think that there's enough emphasis put on the importance of wealth building in our community. If you really want to help Black America preserve and maintain your wealth, that's a social cause, okay? And I think for so long in our community, we've had this stigma towards money and the accumulation of money and wealth. And the reality is, it's not the money that's the problem, it's how it's used. But, so we want to keep the emphasis on wealth building. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And when I see a guy, I consider a guy like Chris Lighty or 50 Cent a role model. And until I do a $100 million deal, they will continue to be role models to me. And so, you know, we need to stop talking so much and actually like look at the numbers and like be realistic about it. And the last thing I'll say is about collaboration. People think that Black people can't collaborate because of the legacy of slavery. And I'm someone who actually thought that too. But when I started researching, when I started working on my book, which comes out in September, that was one of the things that I really got into. I wanted to really see, let's check out this Willie Lynch thing, right? That's a myth, we know that. But there were Willie Lynches, and we certainly know that there were such things as sellouts in those days. But at the same time, the overriding reality of slavery was collaboration. We would have never made it through that time if we hadn't worked together. As a matter of fact, if you look at critical times in African American history where we have been down, it has always been collaboration that has pulled us through. But I refuse to accept that Black people have to be down in order for us to recognize that. And so collaboration should be the goal of this panel, should be the goal of these students. You could have easily said, you know what, I'm not getting anybody an internship. I'm taking it from me. You get yours, I got mine, right? You could have said that. But this young man walked in to CNBC last summer. How many kids did you have with you? How many? He had about 8 with him, and they all had internships at on Wall Street. And that kind of brotherhood, that's what we need. That kind of brother, and I'm talking to the men now. We need that kind of brotherhood. So I'm committed to that. I'm committed to seeing Black men make it in corporate America, and Black men make it as entrepreneurs.